Hello and welcome to the second video for Comp 2. I'm going to be talking today a little bit about the rhetorical analysis paper that's due at the end of this week. I would say that a rhetorical analysis can be very involved and can be really complicated, or it can be pretty simple and pretty straightforward. I would prefer to think that the one that's going to be due at the end of this week would be fairly much in the middle, so that you're not going to be analyzing every aspect that you can possibly think of, because we haven't yet gone over many of those aspects, such as a full consideration of argumentation, which will come later in the semester. For right now, I want you to be able to apply the concepts that we learned last week in the Engaging Self book about rhetorical analysis, and also engaging with the recommendations in the little brown book from this week. So we're going to be looking at purpose and audience and genre a little bit, but we're also going to be thinking about the reasoned argument considerations that came up in the Engaging Self book last week, including the debatable issue, the clearly stated position, the audience again, evidence from reliable sources, acknowledgement of opposing arguments, and conclusion or call to action. But you could also bring in anything else from that chapter as well. If you wanted to look at the pin tab that appeared at the end of the chapter, you could do it that way too. I'm going to leave that kind of up to you, but that's enough of a set of considerations to get you pretty well into this paper. Now, what does the paper actually consist of? Well, it's going to consist of three major elements. The first of those is a summary. The summary is only going to be a sentence, maybe two, three at the absolute most. We don't want to spend too much time on summarizing it, because we could read the paper by itself. We all have access to the book. So it's really less about summary and more about your engagement with the text. So summarize it very briefly, and then you're going to spend most of the paper on analysis. There's several ways to do that. I would say pick several of the topics that we talked about, like genre or purpose or audience or any of those other debatable issues sorts of things, and you're probably going to want to spend at least a paragraph on all of the major topics that you're interested in using for your analysis. Now, you can use the text itself as evidence to bear. So if you need to quote something, you can quote something. And we haven't gone over how to use quotation and summary really at all yet. Don't worry about that. You do have access to the library guide that Mr. Rink put together for us in the 3B module, and those sources might help you. I think there's far more information there than you could sort through easily in terms of how to cite your sources and such. So you want to use the article itself as evidence to support your positions. And then at the very end, I want you to have some sort of response wherein you sort of critically evaluate whether or not you think it was a persuasive argument, if you agreed with it or something like that. And the response you'll see in the little brown book is pretty close to what I would like to see you do. So summarize it quickly, analyze it in great detail, and then give us a final evaluation, your final sort of word: summary, analysis, and evaluation. Now, what I'd like to talk a little bit about is how you're going to select a text to analyze. And the truth is, it's totally up to you. The ones I would like to suggest will come directly from this book, your Engaging Self book. Most of the book consists of readings, especially toward the end. You can analyze any of the readings, not the chapter stuff where they're telling you to how to write a paper or something like that, but one of the readings. Most of the chapter stuff will end with a set of readings, like we saw last week. There was the Obama reading, the Clinton reading, the Sojourner Truth article, and the one from Shirley, I forget her last name. But anyway, I would like you to just choose one of the readings. It doesn't have to be a particular length. It doesn't have to be a particular author. It's your choice. And then read it, understand it really, really well, and then do a rhetorical analysis for it. Again, quickly summarize it, very quickly summarize it, 3 sentences at most. And then you're going to do your analysis of it. I want your analysis to probably be a page to 2 pages long, just in terms of your analysis. And then at the very end, an evaluation, probably a paragraph. Now this is an academic paper, so it is going to have a thesis statement in the opening paragraph, and we're going to need to see that you're building on your argument all the way down until you get to the end of your paper, and when we see your final evaluation. So this is really going to be a full-on paper, and so it's going to need to be between 3 pages and 4 pages probably. This counts as one of the major papers in the course, so I would like you to get started on it as quickly as you can. Now, you only have a week to do it, and I understand that can be difficult, but I am going to see if we can do it. If we can get it all done in that first week, that's really going to help you, because in the end, you will frequently be asked to write papers that are due the next week in your college courses, and we kind of just need to develop that skill. So I'm sure it's kind of painful, but I think you can do it, and I have every confidence in you. Now, maybe you have noticed in the little brown reading there's a whole sample paper for it, but I'm also posting a sample paper that I wrote when I was a student, and you can use either one of those as sort of a guide to what sorts of things I'm looking for. Again, summary, analysis, and evaluation. Summary and evaluation would be pretty short. Summary is very short. Evaluation is going to be about a paragraph, and the rest of your paper is going to be devoted to analysis. And again, you're going to be looking at all those things that we talked about. You're going to be looking at purpose. You're going to be looking at audience. You're going to be looking at genre. You're going to be looking at all of the major portions of the Rosenblatt reasoned argument components. Any of those that you're interested in, just go after it, because it'll all be part of your analysis. So if that is of any help, I hope that you'll be able to work with it. But if you have any questions, please contact me. Very few of you have contacted me this semester, and I would like to encourage you, anytime you're confused or if something's not clear to you, please just give me a holler. During my office hours, you can always swing by. I'm in Broken Arrow, that kind of limits that. But if you ever need to call me during that time, you can call me from any campus phone without any sort of long distance charges. And anytime that I'm not in my office, you can always send me an email, or Blackboard IM is very, very, very useful. So please consider all of those as ways to get in contact with me. So the paper is going to be due at the end of the week, just like normal. And let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can knock this out. And you don't have to do a what I've learned response this time. And you're only writing the paper to me. And the paper will be it will have its own Blackboard folder, so you won't have to worry about that at all. Anyway, thank you very much. Bye-bye.